What is going on, world? Richard here, IFBB Pro, and you're here with the R2F Mindset. Today's topic, let's talk about the Olympia 2025. What's your thoughts? How it went down? What's my intake? Um, Great Olympia. One, if not the deepest lineups in the men's open. People brought smoke in all classes. And I will say, once you get to the Olympia, you're in a special category. You're an Olympian. So no matter what the placing, folks, you're one of the best in the world. You got to that stage, so kudos to you. I know athletes that's been there this past weekend, talked to them, and the experience is phenomenal. So kudos to you. So let's go into what our thoughts were and the placings. Let's start off with categories I follow. Men's physique, Ryan Terry, kudos to you. Repeat. Woo. Can he make it four? Can he make it five? Definitely. But on his heels, we got Ali Bilal, second again. Abs of steel. I think he just lacks that fullness in the chest. Brandon Hendrickson third, past Olympia champion. He brought heat. He could have been second. I don't know what the criteria or how the judges seen it, but I wasn't there. But hats off to you, big waves in the building. Let's move on to classic physique. We have a new champion. As you know, Chris Bumps had retired, so following his footsteps since his retirement, Ramon Dino, where he's been battling Chris previously, neck and neck. The package he brought this Olympia reminds me of the time when he battled with Chris one year. I think it was 2023 maybe, where it was neck and neck, and I was on my heels thinking I think Ramon could win, and he very much could have. He didn't, but he brought that same package, but this time a little bit more pop and oomph, and he prevailed. And I was like, it got emotional just because seeing his story, where he's come from, the hard work he's put in, the sacrifices. And don't get me wrong, we've all sacrificed many things, but it couldn't happen to a better guy. He's humble, hard worker, and you can see it if you follow him, whatnot. You, how could you not be emotional and happy for the guy? So hats off to Ramon. Fans of Brazil, you got your Olympic champion, as you said you would, as predicted. Shall it be? Mike Summerfield, what can I say? I'm not a fan of his physique structure, but he poses great, good classic lines. But I still see him as a bodybuilder in my head. Like this, he doesn't fit the classic criteria in my opinion. Out of those three, the ones who fit the classic criteria most is probably Terrence Ruffin, hands down. Um, the question is, what's not classic about Terrence? That's my point. I got into classic division because of him. Just seeing his stage presence. I believe when he came out and did, I believe it was Tampa, his performance to the song Panda. I don't know anybody who didn't stand up and got off the chair like, oh my gosh, what a performance. And I was hooked from then. I said, I want to do classic. So, Terrence, hats up to you. You're great for the sport. You're chipping your way in. And you've beaten all those guys before, so we know you can be a champion. And you're a champion in my eyes. So, that's that. Let's go into figure. I predicted that Lola Montez would beat Jessica, and she did. She came second again, I believe, with a 1 point difference. What that 1 point was, obviously a coin toss, but I talked to Lola, and she'll say her piece when she wants to. I think it's out of respect. She's hungry. She's determined. She knows what she needs to do, as we were talking, and she's a force. In my opinion, she's Miss Olympia. It's just not on the books yet, but it will be next year. Moving up to women's bodybuilding. I don't know about you folks, but I will say this. If there is anyone who disagree, chime in, say your comments. But when she came out and walked, she had that boom, like in 2011 when Phil Heath walked out. Game over. There was no one beating her. Nobody. This is the best she's ever looked. Lean, full, density, and you can see it in her face. You can pull her cheeks in. There was like elastic. She came to conquer and take names. Hats up to her and her coach. I believe it's the producer. Was Cindy Gillen's old coach. He produced. She produced. What a name. Um, what more can you say? Like, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Hats off to you, Andrea. Phenomenal. Now let's get into the men's. What we've been talking about. What's your take? I'll be the first to admit my predictions were way off. I predicted Samson winning, Andrew second, Hottie third, Martin fourth, and Derek fifth. That's what I predicted. It didn't come close. Hats off to Derek. He won. I'm not a Derek fan. Nothing against him. It's just he's not the physique I would want to obtain to if I can put on size and mass. He didn't give me that wow factor. When Samson won, maybe people say I'm biased, but I'm a Samson fan for many reasons. For meeting him, speaking to him, but more so what he represents. He's humble, great ambassador for the sport. Like, he went everywhere. Where didn't he go is the question. He never backed down from a challenge. He did shows which a lot of Olympia champions don't do. He came out to France before he did Olympia last year. What Olympia champion who would have done that? Nobody. So he's up for the challenge. He came in and gave what the judges wanted. Tighter shrink wrap. It just didn't work for his physique, and he lost a lot of muscle density, in my opinion. So when he came out, he looked good, but when you put him in the lineup, you can see he just wasn't big enough. There wasn't no density, wasn't no pop. Derek had pop. Mind you, I think he had a better physique in the Arnold. But even Pittsburgh was, I would say, arguably better. His chest did come in striated. We know Hardy always comes in condition. So, he's always going to be a force. 3 years in a row coming second. People are going to talk about the atrophy in his leg, was downsized, his right leg. I wasn't there, but when someone pointed it out to me, I could see it more. But is that enough not to make him win? I'm not a judge, I can't say. But Andrew Jack. Jack was a name, Jack was a game. He came in, dice. Easily could have had second place. Easily. If he had a little bit better posing, like a side chest, more of a quad sweep, they're better. He could have won too. He came third, but he's going to be a force. Next Olympia will be interesting because I think Derek's the second person to lose the title, come back and win it. Samson's going to be hungry. Andrew's going to be hungry. Martin Fitzwater looking phenomenal. Hats off to you. Derek Walker, he has a hard structure. His structure is something where it's like, what do you compare him to? He's a mutant, but I will say, great person. He came in better in the night show. If he brought that package in the morning, I think his placing would improve. Not enough to win, to be honest, but I like his determination, so we'll see what happens next year. Should be interesting. Brandon Curry, showing those big boys, and William Bonac. The young guys, hey, we're still here. We're still here, so congrats to you. It was a great Olympia. The only thing, once again, is the timing coming on late. So, like, You guys need to do better. You guys said in the press conference that you'll send an email out making the big boys come on a little bit earlier, coming at 12 o'clock. That's not earlier. Well, in Canada. Um, Still, I think they need to come on earlier because they got to carb up, and carrying all that weight, it's hard to really show your true potential if you're sitting and waiting, not really knowing what's going on. But I will say they did listen in regards to the backdrop. They did use a darker screen, I think, in some of the categories for the finals. Um, Stream. I don't know what's going on, but guys, like all that money going into Olympia, and you're charging all that money, and you're not getting a stream that's consistent. Like you got to do better. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just giving my opinion. Like all that money you make and put on a glamour show. How about putting to some fiber optics or something and get that connection better? That's my take for the 2025 Olympia. What's your take? That's my wrap. Always remember, folks, R2F, mindset. It's what you think, how you act, how you create, all up here. We out. Peace.